Oh hey Northernlion, where's FTL? Why'd you cancel a Let's Play without telling anybody? It's right here, baby, don't even worry about it. Welcome back to Northernlion Plays FTL. We're gonna start a new game here, and I'm gonna play as the Kestrel. It's been a while since I played FTL, so don't expect too much spectacular here. Like the new Spelunky videos, it takes a little while to get back into the mindset necessary to succeed at FTL, but hopefully we'll be able to make something good happen here regardless. Since we're getting into, late December, mid-December here, I think it's time to name some of the crew members here after characters from my favorite games of 2012. So we've got Lee, obviously from The Walking Dead. Why don't we go with Roll from XCOM? I guess we could have gone with like Dr. Valen or something. And you know what? Why don't we keep Steven Dengler here? Because FTL is one of my favorite games of the year. And we're gonna call this ship the Goaty, as if it's the game of the year. Anyway, we won't be able to rename people as they come aboard, I believe. But let me just think about this. It's been a while since I've dealt with the FTL interface. We're gonna put Steven Dengler in the engines room. Roll Fizzlebeef has now become a woman that is gonna be in the weapons room. And obviously, we want Lee piloting the ship here. Okay, we want Artemis and Burst Laser definitely powered up. And we need to put auto fire on. We're good to go, I think. Alright, so let's start jumping here. It's been a while. We're playing this on normal mode, which is probably a terrible decision on my part, but we'll see what happens anyway. An automated rebel scout that has no... Oh, it does have shields. We're going to intervene to defend the outpost, and I'm going to do my first combat in a long time in FTL. Obviously, we're going to go straight after weapons, and I'm going to hope that my shields can protect me from whatever the enemy is going to throw at me here. But in the meantime, I'm going to save my Artemis. Don't want to use these missiles just yet. That's damage for us to start with, but that's okay, because their weapons are completely offline now. Now we can probably fire on their shields, because they should have no means of repairing. And I'm starting to feel like I'm back in the groove here a little bit. Take some shots at the enemy shields, get those taken out. Now why not go for the piloting system just to make sure everything is hunky-dory. Alright, it feels good to be back. First successful engagement. At least we're not going to lose on the first beacon of Sector 1. Laugh all you want, but this is a game that requires a different kind of mindset to play in. You've got to remember to constantly pause, partition your resources appropriately, and I believe we're going to go for our first level of doors right away, and we are now ready to continue jumping throughout the galaxy here, space trucking around the stars. This ship looks a little bit more powerful, but we're still going to intervene to defend the outpost. What kind of shit are they dealing with here? They've got a beam as well as a laser. We're just going to go the same thing. We're going to go burst laser on their shields, which should be enough for us to keep things going here and avoid death. I'm hoping, at least. That beam is going to be able to do a lot of damage and actually took our shields completely down, which is bad news. But we have taken their weapons completely down. So although we took damage to start with there, everything should go better from this point on. We'll go for their shields next, and we're just going to try to keep them constantly juggling. Shields, weapons, shields, weapons. The Northernlion story. Anyway, with their shields now completely down and our shields back up, we can afford to go back to the weapons room. All they have now is a laser, which doesn't represent too much of a threat to me. And now that their weapons are back down, they've got their shields back up, but again, we're just going to rotate back here to their shields, and they should be screwed. I should probably get the sensors back up. I mean, there's no real reason to do that, but I might as well just have everything set to go, so that when we want to escape from here, we can actually do so. There we go. Their shields have just had a fire that took them completely down, and our sensors are about to be back up, and their ship is about to be completely dead, which just happened. Beautiful. 11 scrap. An extra 11 scrap, and actually we got like 6 fuel total from all of this as well, which is pretty awesome. And we're probably going to go for our second level of shields first, but we're going to keep jumping and saving our money just in case we find a store at some point in the near future and we're able to buy a better weapon. We are going to attack the pirate here. I immediately regret this decision because they do have a missile launcher. We might take some more damage than usual, but, assuming we still manage to land like 2 laser shots here, we shouldn't take too much damage, and it doesn't take that much to heal either. Okay, so our shields have been hit, but their weapons are completely offline, so we've been through this song and dance before. Send our burst laser now to attack on their shields. Could mix it up. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people and been reading comments on the other FTL videos. People have been saying, Northernlion, you should really focus on maybe the piloting system after you take out the weapons, just so they can't dodge any of your shots again. That's probably a pretty good idea. However, I like the way things are going here anyway. So their shields are completely out now. They do have rock plating, which is the most annoying thing in the world. We're going to go back to burst lasering their weapons here before they can get a missile off. Hopefully. Alright, we did manage to make that happen. Then we go back to shields. First sector oftentimes does not involve that much strategy beyond alternating laser fire between these two particular areas of the ship. But rock plating makes this fight kind of a pain in the ass, as you can see. I think we can just go for oxygen next. Our FTL drive is charged. We might as well go on engines, actually. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We might as well go on this empty room, because either way, it is going to get them killed, unless there was some crazy resistance there. And we're still on the lookout. Got some drone parts, extra scrap, and missiles. I'm trying to save missiles on this floor, and that's actually going really well for us so far. But I'm still on the lookout. I could go for a second bar of shields quickly, which is very useful, of course. I'm going to say I have no need of his services, because I don't want to get in a fight with a ship that has Zoltan energy shield at this point. We've got nothing going on here, but luckily our fuel is in a situation where we don't have to worry about it too much. What I'm trying to say is, with this much scrap, we're versatile. So I am going to attack the slaver scum here, but first I want to finish my train of thought there. Basically, could get a quick bar of shields, or if I have the potential to buy or pick up another weapon, that would be great as well, because it would just allow us to, you know, be a little bit more offensively powerful. Particularly if we can do it without using missiles, that's great. Anyway, we're going to attack the slaver scum. They have a bomb as well as a laser. So business as usual, we're going to start out just by going for the weapons here. And again, we might take some damage, but the end game here, the reason I'm attacking the slaver scum is to actually get another crew member, which is more valuable than, you know, 2 damage to our ship, which is what I will probably end up taking here. Unless their bomb completely misses, which worked out fantastically for me. So again, we are going to keep going on to the weapons here. Their laser is constitutionally incapable of doing damage to us, especially now that it's completely offline. And now we will go for the shields. I tested my coffee. It's still a little bit too hot for me to take a picture of, or for me to take a drink of. Sorry, I got distracted over here. Take one of our slaves as tribute. If you destroy us, they'll all die anyway. I will accept that offer. We're going to be given a Mantis crew member, who actually should be in our shields room. I should send Roll back to the weapons room. That was crew mismanagement on my part, and I apologize for that. Still no store, but we're doing fantastically right now. 4 crew members, good sector. We will obviously attack the automated ship here. They have a decent supply of weapons here. They have an ion, which will take down my shields probably completely with its first shot, unless it misses, which it did not, and then the beam, which could really tear me up. Mantis is slow as hell at repairing things, but with their beam down, it doesn't matter. You can use ions all you want at this point, because we should be able to completely take the weapons offline. Fantastic. And then it doesn't really matter what we shoot at next. We might do a little bit of ship repair, but as it is right now, everything's going pretty well, so I'm not going to complain about our current situation. Just to make sure, yep, that ship is completely taken down. We might get, where's the storage cache, right? So the station actually gives us a halberd beam. That is beautiful. It's gonna cost a ton of weapons. So we might still go for a, like, in terms of upgrading our weapons, I mean, it's gonna cost a ton. So I might still go for a shield bar first and then focus on weapons just to make sure. Because if I go for weapons first, it's gonna be probably a long time before I'm able to actually use this halberd beam. So we might just keep business as usual for now and try to get 2 bars in weapons as soon as possible after that. But for now, this is definitely worthwhile. This halberd beam is going to allow us to tear up some enemy ships, which is fantastic. One of my favorite weapons in the game if you can use it with proper timing. In any case, this has been a pretty good first sector here. I love just not using missiles on the first sector, because it allows you to save up so many. Like, we already have 16. That's not a ton, but it's double what we started with, which is pretty solid. And this has been a pretty exhaustive first sector, a little bit slower than usual, which is a good thing, I think. That ship did not manage to get away. Instead, we pick up another 14 scrap. We are up to 96, and finally we come across a store. And again, the reason I continue saving here, if we could possibly get, is this worth fighting? It might be worth fighting. Let's see. They have missile, okay, they have missile launcher and laser, which is not that bad. Provided they don't hit our weapons, we should be able to get a burst laser off quickly. And even if they do hit our weapons, we can then use Artemis to take their weapons offline in all likelihood. Oh, we do have a breach here, so we're going to send Roll Fizzle Beef in there to take care of that. We missed a lot, so we're actually going to send Artemis in on their weapons. Good, that's going to take those completely offline. And then we're just going to go back to burst lasering their shield. So this is a little bit more difficult than I expected it would be, but we'll get some scrap as a reward regardless. Again, I'm assuming that it's all just going to go well for us here, which we can't be 100% sure of yet, but certainly seems to be the case. We're going to go back to shields because the shields have been repaired slightly. And then after this, okay, we barely hit them there. We're going to go back to shields again. I could always drop another Artemis on weapons if necessary, but it's not necessary yet. Or we could drop an Artemis on shields if necessary, but again, just not necessary yet. They're going to surrender. I'll take the fuel. I always like taking surrenders on the first floor or the first sector because it prevents us from getting into serious problems. I was looking for a weapon pre-igniter, but we didn't get one. But that's okay. We can buy... We might as well fix up for a little bit here. I don't want to buy any of those just yet. We don't really need fuel or missiles. So I think now we'll just upgrade our ship. So that's going to cost that right there. Now we can have 2 bars of shields. And now we'll focus on getting our weapons up to snuff, which is probably going to take us all of Sector 2 to be able to use this halberd beam, even if we do turn off the Artemis. So let's strip this, strip the ship for any useful scrap. 8 free scrap is fine by me. And we will go to Zoltan controlled sector, which seems to give us a fairly easy trip through to Sector 2. Let's see what we've got going on here. I think I'm going to jump out here first, just because then I can go to the upper path as well and hit as many nodes as possible, or as many beacons as possible, if you will. So we've had some humans board our ship. Unfortunately, we have no means of... How am I going to do this? 1 second. I think we'll just send Mantis in here first to fight him. And then we'll send Steven Dangler in here to fight. Oh, there's 2 in there. Never mind. We'll send Steven Dangler into the weapons room to fight. Because of my present situation, I should have turned down the med bay, but actually now the med bay being on is a good thing. Where's my other crew member here? Dangler is in here. Okay, I just didn't see him because of the people in here. So we are losing oxygen fairly quickly. But as these guys run away, that's okay. They're going to take out our engines, which again is not a problem at all. As this Mantis heals up, we're going to get in here and fight in the oxygen room and then repair it as soon as possible. Our engine room is out. That crew... Okay, we've got a kind of a serious spell of combat here that worries me a little bit. This is a surprisingly difficult kind of first engagement here. Okay, so our human is running into serious problems. He should probably run to the med bay. But Lee is very high on health. Mallet has to get the hell out of here. And we gotta kill these guys because... Oh man, Lee's gonna be hurt too. We've gotta kill these guys because our oxygen is dipping dangerously low. Okay, so who's close to healed here? Mantis and Human are close to healed. So we'll send them in here to hopefully fix this oxygen, because that could represent a serious problem for us if it fails. In the meantime, you just get back here in the weapons room. Again, damage being done to the weapons room doesn't really bother me that much. It's just the oxygen. We've got to make sure the oxygen stays up on the ship. Okay, that's healed. We can go back here and fight in the weapons room. There are only 2 of them left. This room is not losing oxygen either, so we should be okay. Alright, that was scary. But we managed to get everything done reasonably well. I hate that level because you don't actually get any benefit for it. Like, you don't get any benefits for a win condition. We didn't really lose anything there. I mean, we might have taken a little bit of hull damage just from, like, the oxygen room being constantly butt-fucked. Lee wants to go back in here. Roll will be our weapons personnel. Good, good, good. And now we'll just wait for our engines to be completely repaired and we will continue to jump. So this seems like a good opportunity for me to take a sip of my coffee. Still a little bit too hot, honestly. I wish I'd waited a little bit longer. Oh well. I guess we can already use Halberd Beam. Like, if we use Burst Laser and it takes shields completely out, we can just switch Artemis and Burst Laser off, go for Halberd Beam, which will tear through enemy ships as if they weren't even there, really. But for now, let's just focus on getting to the next beacon, because that was a fairly difficult one for us. And now we're going to go up, and we can always go down through that nebula if necessary. I don't like this, but I'm glad we upgraded our shields for sure. So they have Missile Launcher, Ion Beam. That's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. We are going to use... actually, you know what? We're not going to use Artemis. Reason being that the asteroids are just going to take down their energy shield reasonably quickly anyway. I think. We might as well fire a burst laser in here on weapons. They've taken out our med bay, which is worthless. We're actually going to use that power to power up our engine bay. Again, we don't even need to fix the med bay right now. It's kind of not worth our time. And I am going to send a missile in on weapons just to make sure they stay offline as long as possible. And then we're probably gonna go... Oh, I didn't mean to attack weapons. I meant to attack shields. Doesn't matter, though. We're in a great position here. We can probably afford to fix the med bay now, just because there's no real danger to us in combat. At least temporarily. There we go. They are taken out. Fantastic. We're gonna pick up 24 scrap, which is pretty good, all things considered there. We might want to invest in some weapon power now. I think the first one costs 35. We actually can't use it here because we're in... Or we can't upgrade our ship because we're in a dangerous area here. And that's going to continue, apparently, here. So we have Zoltan ship and Mantis ship. I think we should interfere and help the Zoltan ship, so we're going to attack the Mantises. And they have a very, very powerful laser as well as a halberd beam, it looks like. Some kind of beam, anyway. We're going to burst laser on weapons, obviously, and depending on how this first engagement shakes out, we might use Artemis as well. First things first, though. Alright, we have hurt their weapon systems. If we can just keep their laser offline, they really stand basically no chance. Their engines are completely out, so they won't be able to dodge shots. So there's really no need for me to use... Beautiful. There's no need for me to use our Artemis right now. Or our halberd beam. We'll just continue saving up. Using our burst laser, which allows us to do some quick damage, and if we can take down their shields, which we basically did right there, the asteroids should pretty much just take them out for me, and there's no need for me to even mess around with anything else. There they go. Alright, so we're set up in a fairly good position here. Another 13 scrap. I was really hoping the Zoltan ship would hook us up with some more, but sadly, you can't always rely on that, I guess. Now again, I'm looking for a weapon pre-igniter, if we could get one of those. Fire beam's great. Hermes is great as well, because it does fire 2 missiles. Oh, no, it doesn't, actually. Which one fires 2 missiles? That's the... starts with a P, I think. Anyway, we're just going to heal up a little bit. We have nothing to sell yet. And I'm not going to go to the other store. I'm just going to continue jumping throughout the galaxy here. And we're amassing as much scrap as possible to probably invest in our weapon systems next. And again, this... We've gotten fairly lucky with our engagements so far. This doesn't really seem like an engagement that is going to require the use of another Artemis. So we're still doing fine at 15 missiles here. We'll probably take a little bit of damage, is my guess. Maybe not, actually. Their beam is still online, but with their other weapon system, the hull laser, I think they're completely offline. I should stand basically no risk of anything bad happening to me here. I've said that before and been wrong. And actually, if we manage to take out the enemy shields here, I will probably switch to the halberd beam, just to get some use in of that. We did, so why not power that halberd beam up? It's gonna take a while, and their shields might be up by the time it works, but I'm gonna hope that they're not, and we're just gonna set the halberd beam to go like this, which should allow us to do a fairly substantial chunk of damage. I'm just hoping that the shields don't come back up. Good. They're gonna surrender. You know what, for 4 missiles, that's worth it for surrender, I would say. Again, fairly good spell of combat for us as we continue going on here. We are gonna have to jump through this nebula, which I'm not a fan of, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Weirdly enough, we're fighting an NG ship. You don't fight too many of these. They do have a missile defense drone as well as a laser and a pike beam, it looks like. So obviously we're not gonna be looking to go fire an Artemis on them. This is a tricky situation though. Hopefully their missile defense drone, yeah, it was only level 1, so it wasn't capable of stopping any of my attacks. Any of my laser attacks, I should say. Unless I hit it directly, in which case it will stop it. Good. Shields are completely down. We can probably switch to the halberd beam now, even though it does take 500 years to charge up. How much damage does halberd beam do? 2 damage. So even if they do get shields back up, they only have 1 bar. So it'll still do like 1 damage per room, which is fine by me. And we're going to try to take their weapons offline here. Maybe I shouldn't experiment so much. But it seems to be getting the job done. Plus, anything that lets our weapons personnel level up more is fine by me. I think we can maybe get 4 rooms in here. We're gonna try anyway. So the halberd beam is actually totally viable in this situation as well. Because it goes through shields with 1 damage per room, but I prefer using the burst laser and Artemis if possible, because the burst laser has such a lower charge time. We're actually not gonna have to go through the nebula here, which is great. Randomly picked up a bunch of fuel, missiles, and scrap, which is good for me, and we're just going to jump to the exit here, at which point I will probably start to invest in our weapon systems, because if we can get Artemis, burst laser, and halberd beam going at the same time, that'll be great for us. So these guys have ion and hull laser, I think. Yeah, that's exactly what they have. But they only have 1 bar of shield, so again, assuming we can get a burst laser off before they manage to do too much damage. If they only do 1 ion damage, it represents basically 0 threat to me at all. Although it can stack damage, but hey, they missed with their first ion shot, so that is not a big deal. We'll just wait for our second burst laser shot to fire, and when it fires, it should take out their weapons completely. Well, sort of. They only have 1 hull laser backup, but they could still, I guess, hit 1 bar of our shields with that. They have basically no way to possibly do any hull damage to us. Now their weapons are completely offline. I was thinking, oh, you know what, we might as well go with halberd beam, but now that I've finished that sentence and burst laser is halfway charged, we might as well just do things this way. We completely missed their shields. Now we should go with the halberd beam, because in a single charge, it will enable us to do enough damage to all of their systems. It's going to take a little while to charge up here, but that's okay. We might be able to hit 4 rooms with it, but again, that's overkill. We got like 3 guaranteed damage with it. Yes, there we go. I've got to start using beams through shields more often. Like, it actually does, if you've got enough, or if they only have 1 bar of shields, it's actually effective. But I guess it's not good long term because we're going to be fighting ships that have more than 3 bars of shields. Anyway, I think we can do 2 weapon power, and then nearly 2 in the... let me think about this. So I think if we depower Artemis, now we can have Halberd Beam and Burst Laser powered up at the same time. But we have to remember to depower the engines 1 bar to make that happen. So we're going to jump to NG Homeworlds. So far, so good. The ability to use Burst Laser and Halberd Beam simultaneously is going to be very effective for us, of course, because that's been my primary concern so far. Is like, do I want Burst Laser or Halberd Beam? Well, why not both? Old El Paso girl.jpg. We're going to forego the store there. It's not really necessary right now. We're doing fairly well for the 3rd sector here. You arrive near a small fleet of civilian NG ships. A simple decryption and translation of their comm frequency tells you that they are having a frantic discussion about something obviously troubling them. Let's ask if we can help. Declined offer with apologetic gratitude. Topic of discussion, private matter. Okay. Sorry. Maybe if we had an NG crew member, we could have done that. But sadly, no such luck for us here. So we are going to respond to this NG call for assistance. We're actually... Oh, man. These guys are pissed. So we have borders. 1 border? Only 1 border. So we're going to send Mantis Human to fight them. Considering they have defense drones, we are just going to use Burst Laser Halberd Beam. This has the potential to be some seriously dangerous combat. But we're going to use... How are we going to do this? We should almost save Burst Laser. Okay, well, at least the border's dead. We should power up the medbay potentially, but let's just get these guys back to their battle stations for now. I'm going to try to use Burst Laser and Halberd Beam at the same time, and we're going to go for enemy weapons first. So Burst Laser fires 3 shots, which might hit once. Okay, and then immediately Halberd Beam, like so. Oh, it doesn't even stretch. Maybe like this? Okay, let's try it. Alright, that did a decent amount of damage, actually. Only their ions are left online. And I'm thinking... I feel bad for this Mantis, because he's seriously in harm's way. But that's okay. Again, we're going to go straight on the weapons here. The defense drones blocked a couple of those shots. Can we hit the doors? Maybe? Let's try. Alright, that was good enough to take them out. I feel like I kind of got lucky there. That could have gone much worse than it did. Extra scrap, always worthwhile. Let's depower Halberd Beam and get our medbay back up to snuff here. We can put 1 more back in engines as well. And I do feel like I want 1 more weapon power. Actually, we can just get an extra 5% chance of dodge by upgrading that right there. So now I can use Halberd Beam, provided I depower Artemis. Can I not? Oh, a depower medbay and Artemis. Okay, this guy, he is indeed healed. So let's continue onwards here. So far, so good. Might be looking at a 3rd bar of shield soon. They don't have a teleporter. They have 2 lasers, which is a pain. Let's attack the ship. I think we can make this work. The fact that they don't have a teleporter makes me feel better about things. We have 25 missiles now, so we might as well use some Artemis charges at some point. So we'll just drop an Artemis on their shields right away. Then we'll go Burst Laser on weapons, and we'll switch to Halberd Beam. So if we depower Artemis now, we can power up Halberd Beam, Burst Laser on weapons. We did end up losing all oxygen power to the ship, which is kind of a problem, but that's okay. When did having no oxygen hurt anybody? Now we're going to go lasers with lasers on shields, and then Halberd Beam should just basically tear these guys a new asshole. Like so. Yeah, especially now that their weapon systems are completely offline, Halberd Beam is just going to absolutely tear through them. 22 scrap, that's pretty good. We might want to repair our ship a little bit when we get a chance, but for now, I can't really complain, honestly. We have another ship that I think we should aid. And we don't even really, like, they don't have any borders, and they don't really have much in the way of possibility of hurting our ship. So I think we just want to go on weapons, and then whenever Halberd Beam gets charged, we can just rake that across and do, like, a guaranteed 3 to 4 damage, because they only have 1 bar of shields anyway. So like this, sorry, should be enough for us to do 4 damage to the enemy ship, which is pretty awesome. And also took out some of their more annoying subsystems. So again, we'll just go straight on their weapons here because their shields are a little compromised. Why not switch halberd beam up and go this way this time? Which should allow us again to basically take out the enemy ship. Halberd beam, really good weapon here in the early game. Civilian ship has made a fast retreat, which is, I guess, understandable, but still kind of annoying because I wanted them to give me some reward as well. Alright. Care to take up a bit of mercenary work? I will indeed. Let's rescue the store. Where's the quest marker? Luckily it's on the way. So I think we'll go store, quest, and then we'll try to finish the sector. Sector 3's been pretty good to us so far. Let's see. Still no automatic weapon loader. We're just going to fix up our ship a little bit. Might buy a little fuel. Otherwise, I think we're doing pretty okay. So let's go to this quest beacon. I assume we're going to have to fight like a mantis ship or something here. It's a rebel fleet. We can't see it yet. Let's engage the rebel. Okay, they have a border, which landed where? Okay, just in this random room in the middle. That's fine. We'll send 2 in there to fight that. We will not use our missile launcher. That's not necessary at this point. Beautiful. So we'll fire on weapons first, and then we'll use halberd beam to kind of rake across oxygen, shields, engines, weapons. We are going to get hit by their missile launcher, almost certainly. Everyone get back to your battle stations, please. We did not get hit by a missile. I'm not sure how that happened, but anyway, we want to set up our halberd beam like this. Yes, if we can hit all 4 of these rooms, that will be incredibly devastating to the enemy ship. And it appears we did do basically what I suggested there. And we can just keep our halberd beam in the same position, I think. With the rebel fleet weapons basically completely offline, why not power up our medbay, give our mantis a chance to heal up, because we have literally 0 risk now that their ship has exploded into a pile of space debris. They patched up our hull as well as giving us some extra scrap. Still no automated weapon reloader, but hey, small bomb is actually a really good weapon. Ion bomb, how much? It does 4 ion damage, jeez. I think we want to buy the ion bomb here. It only requires 1 power and of course 1 missile, which is really good. And we might want to get rid of Artemis now. I mean, it's not necessary to sell it. It only sells for 19. So it's not really that necessary. I think buying Ion Bomb is a nice addition to us here, though. It does 4 ion damage. That's enough to, like, completely take a shield offline, I think. Like a 4-bar shield offline, which could be incredibly valuable fighting the final boss. Assuming we get there. Well, let's just go to the exit here. Sector 3's been pretty good to us. Making our way into Sector 4. You know what? Let's attack the automated ship. They've got a pretty nasty setup here, which I did not anticipate. But we can get a nice setup going here on our own right. Between Artemis, Burst Laser, Ion Bomb, and Halberd Beam. But I think we're going to be safe for now. It's just a matter of how this ion damage is going to stack. So first things first, I think we want to send Artemis on shields. And assuming this lands, which it does, we will then Burst Laser on weapons. Oh, that totally missed. That's okay, though. We're going to try exactly the same thing here. Burst Laser on weapons. We're not going to use Ion Bomb yet because it's unnecessary. We just really need to take one of their weapons offline, which we did. And it would be nice to take the drone offline, too. Let's not joke around with that. Oh, Steven Dengler leveled up on engines, which is great. We're really missing here. I kind of feel like we should just throw a random Artemis into their weapons area here. Which is going to miss as well. What a waste. We could be here for a while. Maybe I should go on their, like, drone control system. Oh, they did manage. It must be like a fire drone or something. Let's get this fixed up. Put this fire out. Might as well, yeah, send everybody in there. I could use the oxygen systems to put the fire out. We're going to send Artemis on shields, which is going to land, thank God. And we'll go on engines next with our Burst Laser, which has been a sore spot for us. We should use the Ion Bomb as well. But I've been micromanaging pretty poorly so far. Now that their engines are out, we should not miss at all. We did only take a little bit of hull damage there, so it's not like there was a substantial negative cost to taking this fight. Luckily, their ion missed. We get a defense drone, which is really good, actually. Defense drone 2 is great. We'll probably try to buy a drone control unit from a shop. We're going to NG-controlled Sector 4. Now if we can get a drone control unit, we've got a lot of the ingredients necessary to stage kind of a successful run at the boss. I mean, it's still early, anything could happen, but certainly for Sector 4, we're doing very well. So we've got a pirate, which has ion laser. I think we just want to do Halberd Beam, quite honestly. We'll depower the medbay. and get Halberd Beam going on. Now, I probably do want to invest one more in weapons just so I can keep Ion Bomb or Artemis on at all times. We'll try to probably get to both by the end of the game. And I think I can basically charge Burst Laser twice by the time Halberd Beam charges once. So I might as well... I took a crack at it there. Now we're going to go Burst Laser on weapons and then immediately Halberd Beam on shields. Okay, so now Halberd Beam in this, like, sweet region right here, which is just rich with targets. Which is going to allow us to take a lot of their shit offline and basically render their ship completely screwed if we're going to use proper English here. So in dropping this Burst Laser on weapons again, they're going to try to get away, but with their piloting system completely borked, they shouldn't be able to. We're actually going to... I turned off Halberd Beam because their shields are back online. So again, we're going to fire 2 of these Burst Lasers in here. Sorry, 3. And then we're going to drop another Halberd Beam, kind of like this, to hit their engines as well. Good, that's going to be enough to take them out. Fantastically so far, or it's worked fantastically so far. 120 scrap is almost to the point where we could get another bar of shields on the house, basically. But we'll wait until we get another bar, or another 5 scrap, so we can absolutely make that happen without depowering the engines. So we have a pretty nasty ship to be fighting here. They have 3 bars of shields, which means we're probably going to want to go Ion Bomb instead of Halberd Beam. They have a bomb in their own right as well. This is a tricky situation, there's no question about that. So I'm going to try to drop Artemis on shields, because Artemis fires way faster than Ion Bomb. And then we'll take it from there if it hits, which it did. Their bomb is going to land somewhere too. Piloting system, not a big deal, I guess. We're going to drop another Ion Bomb on shields, just to see if this works. It does indeed. Their shields are completely out, which means it's time for us to switch to Burst Lasers on weapons. So our shields have been hit, but their weapons and shields are, like, completely out, so that's good for us. Again, now we'll probably go Burst Laser on shields, just to make sure that this is sustainable, if that makes sense. I think our weapons user did just level up. We're going to drop Artemis on shields, because I missed with a bunch of those Burst Lasers. And with shields now hurting from the ion damage as well as the Artemis that I just dropped, they're still doing a decent amount of damage just by way of the, like, substantial amount of lasers they have. Again, Ion Bomb on shields to keep those completely offline. Fantastic. And then we're going to turn that off because I don't want to use too many more missiles if I don't have to. This ship is surprisingly damaging. Anyway, they're trying to escape. I don't think that's going to work out too well for them, but I've been wrong before. We really need to hit with all 3 of these lasers is the thing. And if things get rough, we might drop an Artemis on them. Okay, they're going to surrender. I'm going to take it because I'm concerned about them possibly getting away. So that worked out okay. Let's now get 3 bars of shields. We do still have to depower engines to make it work, but that's okay. Oh, no, we don't, because we have medbay powered down. Anyway, we're going to have to work on this as you move throughout this sector, of course. So far, so good, though. We're set up for what could potentially be a long FTL run. There's another offer from a store. Okay, first things first. We have to fight this Mantis ship, which does have a crew teleporter. That worries me a little bit, because Lee is seriously hurt. But let's power up the medbay. Require depowering the engines a little bit. We've got 2 NGs, though. That represents not a substantial threat. What we could just do is try to starve them of oxygen before we fight them, which is probably the easiest way to do things. Our evasion has taken a real hit here, though. That's okay, though. You know, they're going to probably completely starve themselves of oxygen by the time they get to do anything. We're going to do Artemis on shields, as we often do. They've hit our shields, which is also bad. Then Burst Laser on weapons, which might be able to take them out. All 3 of those missed. That is a fucking disaster. And then Ion Bomb on shields. Oh man, we've got some serious fires going through this. Did our Ion Bomb completely miss as well? This is not good. Both ships taking an unbelievable amount of damage at this point. I am missing like crazy. But now that their weapon systems are more or less offline, we should be okay. But their ship has like such incredible dodging potential that it bothers me. How do we want to do this now? I think we should close all doors. I realize there's a fire raging here. But I need to close all doors so the oxygen doesn't get too exhausted. And I'm just going to send both of our humans in here to fight. If I had my way, they wouldn't have walked through the fire to make it happen. Oh man, this is seriously not good. Now we have a fire in the weapons room, which is creating substantial problems for us. But let's just open up all this. Where is she going? We need to fix the oxygen up. Artemis is... We might as well fire Artemis before our weapon systems go completely offline. Okay. They're gonna live. Good, they've surrendered. They've given us some scrap and the anti-bio beam, which is quite useful. Man, that did not go very well. We'll send Lee in here to do some repairs. Oh, okay, wait. Close up shop here. All doors are closed. Oxygen slowly pumping back throughout the ship, but that was a very difficult fight. I'm not pleased with the way that went. But we did end up succeeding. We're definitely going to need to make some repairs to our ship, though. Everyone is more or less healed here. Dengler is an engine lackey. Lee is going to have to go to the medbay first as this slowly gets repaired. And then he's going to be our pilot. And Roll is just going to hang out in this room. Oxygen's doing okay. So I feel better about just jumping right here. We should go to the store maybe, because if we go to the store right away, then we don't have to, or we can just repair our ship quickly. Again, no weapon pre-igniter. So we'll just fix ourselves up a little bit. I feel like I should buy more fuel. And we're starting to get kind of pushed close to the wall with respect to resources here, but can't really complain too much. Too dangerous. We'll just wait for the FTL to charge. We've had some problems here recently, so I don't feel as confident about just jumping into the fray. Free fuel, missiles, and scrap is fine by me. Compensates us for our trip into no man's land there. Now, we are going to have to deal with a ship that... I hate this layout because it has drone control. It only has 2 lasers and a beam, which is not a substantial issue for us. And I think with this one, we're going to want to go halberd beam burst laser just to save missiles. I've been using a lot of missiles lately. They could still potentially end up doing damage to us, but not a lot of damage. We're going to see if maybe we can do a little bit of damage to their weapons first. Because if we take one of their weapons offline, they don't stand too much of a chance. Halberd beam is charged, but we're going to wait for burst laser to fire first. Like so. The good thing about this ship is that it is like really dense, so we can hit a lot of rooms at the same time with our halberd beam, like so. So that did a lot of damage to the enemy ship, obviously, and we can probably just keep everything on auto fire as it is right now. It might be enough. They're going to surrender with really good offer for fuel and missiles, actually, which I will take because things have been a little bit rough in that aspect so far. We're going to upgrade our power a little bit more so I can get 1 bar permanently in engines, because I understand, believe me, I have not forgotten how important that evasion chance is. Let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to take the free scrap from the ship. Could go to the store, but I don't think it's necessary. Why don't we just jump to Sector 5? We're in a really good position. Might want to upgrade weapons next, or possibly engines. We're just going to scrap some of the debris here. Can we upgrade weapons? 75 plus 25. We need 100. So 10 more scrap and I'll upgrade weapons again. And why not go to the NG controlled sector here, because it should be a little easier. So, with my coffee now complete, I am ready to get down to business. This is the only beacon we have a chance to jump to, so let's hope it's not a total clusterfuck for me. Well, that's pretty bad, actually. We're gonna charge up Artemis and Ion Bomb, because I kind of absolutely have to. They have a drone control unit, but no drones to control, it seems. So again, Artemis on shields. Hits, that's always super important. We're gonna try... Sensors don't really bother me, but we're gonna send her in here to fix it anyway. We're gonna try burst laser on weapons now. We might get lucky. Alright, that's pretty lucky, actually. And then we're gonna do Ion Bomb on shields, turn off Artemis. It did indeed work, which is fantastic. We'll shoot that on weapons. Depower Artemis and Ion Bomb, go back to Halberd Beam. Actually, you know what? We should continue going on weapons here, because these assholes have a missile launcher. So if we can take their weapons completely offline, then we can go back to Halberd Beam. There we go. With their missile launcher offline, now I feel more comfortable going after their shields. Which, if we can do permanent damage to their shields, we know there's people in that room, too. Wow, that was an awful miss. So again, we're going back to the drawing board here. Artemis and Ion Bomb coming back online, and we're pretty much back at our starting point. They've hit our engines, which is obviously terrible for us. But we're going to drop Artemis on shields. We're going to wait to use Burst Laser until Artemis fires. And we're going to try to use Burst Laser on weapons, as you might expect. Obviously, we missed, because otherwise things would be far too easy for us. So now we're going to wait for Ion Bomb to potentially fire. Hopefully it'll land on shields. It did indeed, which means Burst Laser can now go on weapons. Good, they're trying to escape. Little do they know, that's exactly what I want them to do, because I'm worried about our potential chances for success. But anyway, Artemis on engines now. Good, now I don't think they can escape, or at least their FTL drive is going to be slowed. And we're going to turn off Ion Bomb for now and just go back to Burst Laser. I don't know. We have a chance to succeed here. They're going to surrender. I'm going to take it. They did a ton of damage to us. I'm not happy with that. But, you know, this is the position that we're in. There is no store in our near vicinity, but we're going to try to make our way to a store in the future. Because I desperately need... Sure, participate in their study, free scrap. Sometimes that can be risky, but this time it was not. One more difficult ship has the potential to kind of knock us out here. Don't risk our ship, obviously, because that's a bad situation for us. If we take damage from an asteroid field, we're going to die to like 2 missiles. Alright, we have encountered a trap here. They have a missile launcher as well as a hull laser and a burst laser. To me, this represents potentially our death. But what we are going to do here is send Mantis in to fight these humans. We're going to send Artemis in on enemy weapons. Because if we can just... We've really got to take these weapons offline before anything gets too dangerous for us. We took their burst laser offline, which is valuable. We can always use our Ion Bomb to take out their shields. They've already fled, which is great for me. Let's get our medbay powered up just so our Mantis and human don't die here. Did the Ion Bomb land? It must have missed. Again, Artemis on shields this time. And burst laser on weapons again. And Ion Bomb turned off. Artemis has missed. Burst laser is probably going to be completely ineffective. Yeah, they've got a pretty good dodging chance. We're like really tearing... Oh, fuck. We're really tearing through our missiles here, which is unfortunate. But again, we're going to go on shields with Artemis. It's hit for once, which means we might be able to do some damage to the weapons now. Alright, that is good for me, but we're still... Oh, that's really bad. We got to put this fire out as soon as possible. I've got to get the oxygen back up. Beyond that, we just got to stop the fire from doing any hull damage to us, because we could actually just die to missiles here. I really should have picked up a drone control unit faster. This is not good for us. Our Artemis keeps missing. One more missile after this one, and we're potentially totally dead. I can't believe this went off the rails so quickly. We were doing so well. That's pretty much the Northernlion story in FTL in a nutshell. We just missed with like 6 lasers in a row. They're going to hit us and take our ship completely out. As always, thank you guys for watching. I thought that was a pretty good run. For a while, anyway. You don't have to hit me after I'm already dead. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was. It's not nearly as good as the poop. But in any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time with more FTL.